Hello, everyone. We're here with another episode of Stable School Podcast, live from Cannes. I'm here with Dima from MixBytes, and I'm your host, Raza, head of Growth at Scroll.
So, hey everyone, I'm Dima from MixBytes. I'm a CTO at MixBytes. I've been working in security industry for about 4 years. For now, I also developed Lido on Polkadot. We launched it, but we decided to close it after a year or so. And yeah, I audited a lot of different protocols, a lot of innovations and researches. So yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your background. How long have you been in the industry?
So my classmate from university, actually, he's a CTO of Symbiotic, Algis. He asked me 4 years ago, hey, dude, you want to read some code? And I was like, yeah, fine, I can do it. And he sent me information about Solidity, about blockchain. I was like, what the fuck? I wasn't expecting it. And my first project that I was auditing was Curve CryptoSwap.
Wow.
It was crazy stuff. I was trying to derive all the math with Wolfram, with papers and so on, but it was really, really hard. And yeah, that's how I started. And before that, I was working as a developer in oil and gas industry, optimizations, when you planning how you build oil and gas rigs and so on. Yeah, and it was my scientific research at university, but at some point I decided it's not for me, because the industry is kind of old and everything is already built and implemented, and I decided I want something new.
So what does MixByte do specifically also regarding to stablecoin projects?
We do audits. Yeah. So we mostly doing audits. We also have security consulting services. For example, if you want to implement something new and you don't know how to exactly do it in Solidity, because it's it has a lot of tweaks how to implement some stuff. So we can help you. We can research different protocols, how they implement it, to understand what is the best algorithm you can use. And yeah, these services, audits, and that's it.
So you also give advice on the design of the stablecoin itself?
Yeah. We did a research on stablecoins, but 2 years ago, we decided to check all the existed stablecoins at that time. It was Maker, of course, RAI, LUSD first version, and CurveUSD. And we checked how they worked and how the stabilization mechanism implemented and how they will act in terms of black swan events and so on. And yeah, all of them were fine, but in terms of collateral efficiency, some of them were a bit better, some of them a bit worse, but yeah.
So how do you assess, let's say, the security or the risk? Because many new designs, I've spoken to many new stablecoins. Mm-hmm. It must be a fast-moving side of crypto.
Well, actually, I wouldn't say so, because CurveUSD launched about 2 years ago, and now Liquidity second version, they did a new design, but still it has a lot of similar stuff with stabilization mechanism. And I guess we now know all the basic rules how to build stablecoin. So yeah, we usually check this stuff. For example, if some new stablecoin approach us and want us to audit, we check all the bugs in the code, but we're also trying to break the stabilization mechanism, how it will work in different scenarios and so on. And
stress testing.
Yeah, stress testing. Yeah.
So, how would you do the grading of a stablecoin, because there's no official framework?
I guess you have to come up with a new idea, hey, let's try this. And after that, you have to check it with, actually, yeah, it's a really good thing, because I believe there are some frameworks, but they're not public. So they're kind of private, because as I understand, there is some kind of a framework for lending protocols to decide on risk parameters, and they should use new collateral, check what is liquidity for this collateral on the market, and how to react on different situations on the market. And they should simulate all of this stuff. And after that, they decide on risk parameters. as I understand, it should work like this. I don't know if it's like it's real or not, but for stablecoins, it's kind of the same. You like have collateral, you know how it will move. You can like add virtual liquidity for stablecoin and like add different actors that will affect like they will always they should try to get as much money from the market as they could, because like it's a basic strategy for all traders. And yeah, you should like add these actors and try to like simulate all the stuff before you start implementing your stablecoin in Solidity or Viper. Yeah.
So one of the things that we're seeing, it's already there. Like, I mean, there are crypto-backed stablecoins, and there are stablecoins that are basically accepting more and more different types of collateral. Diversification can be good, but can also be bad.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on it?
It's a nice question, actually. Like recently, I came up with an idea like, hey, what if we implement Gearbox, but we like remove the liquidity provider side and we like just mint stablecoin. So you have like your collateral in Gearbox, and you can like stake it, restake it, edit a little LP position. And I believe it's nice from the user perspective, but from the protocol perspective, it's much more risk, and it's like really hard to do so. And if you want to build something like really stable, it's like hard for you. And if you want to like experiment with stuff and see what will happen, it's nice to try it. But yeah, it's hard if you have a lot of collaterals that like bake in your stablecoin.
Because it basically increases your attack surface too.
Yeah, like you have to check the risks because like ETH and all the like staking version of ETH and restaking version of ETH, they all have like different risk like assumptions, and you have to account for all of them. For example, like the most interesting question for me always is like how lending or stablecoin protocols implement Oracle for like staked assets or restaked assets. Do they price it one-to-one with ETH, or they like looking at the market prices, and if the market prices changes, they're like trying to liquidate this collateral as an asset?
So, talking about, let's say, how a protocol views, let's say, the collateral, but also like maintaining the peg, there are different things that a protocol needs to like consider to ensure like the security, but also like the solvency. And it's actually one of the things that I noticed is that by talking to retail users or like users that are in crypto but are looking at all these stablecoins, they have the need to find out like, okay, how do I look at this stablecoin, as in like how do I assess it? And so if you look at it from the user's point of view, right, how would you even look at the stablecoin landscape?
Well, from the user perspective, I believe the only thing that you care about stablecoins if you can like exchange it for fiat or not, right? It's like if I mint some stablecoin, can I use it somewhere like in real world scenarios or not? But yeah, from the protocol perspective, it's much more to think. Like first is distribution, because if you launch a new stablecoin, it's like really hard task for you to distribute it between like the market. And you also have to have a lot of liquidity in the liquidity pool, because one of the like basic use cases for stablecoin is leverage, and for leverage is like it affects the peg in a like bad way. So yeah, and from the user perspective, it's mostly like how stable it is and where I can use it. For example, if I can buy coffee with this stablecoin, it's nice for me.
So what resilient test or like what way should a protocol think when think about the redemption process, or even like distribution, right? If your stablecoin is only tradable on one DEX, that DEX goes, like something happens with that DEX, that's a problem. Like what are the different things a protocol needs to think about?
Well, first one is a peg, of course. Like how would you act in the case if the market decides that your stablecoin is not a stable coin and they want to like dump your stable coin? In this case, you have to think about how your system will work and about like liquidity provision. Of course, the most important stuff is to like you have to have a lot of liquidity. So from this liquidity, Oracle providers can build an oracles, and with oracles you can integrate with lending markets. And like if you integrate your collateral in the lending market, it's like huge success for you. It like gives you a lot of traction. And yeah, you have to think about this stuff. Like it was actually the same with ST token that we launched when we were like building Lido on Polkadot. It was practically the same because it wasn't like a stable coin, but it was some kind of a collateral, good collateral. It was like yield-bearing collateral, and we were like thinking how we promote this so users like have like they want to use it in DeFi in different protocols. Yeah.
So with with the rise of yield-bearing stablecoins, there's a lot more happening off-chain than ever.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, some could argue they operate more like financial instruments, or money market funds. You hold, capital, collateral, and that's off-ramped, and then it goes to all sorts of places. I think one of the most popular destinations are T-bills. So how do you risk assess or like, stress test this, especially when most of or some of these stable coins are only holding an IOU?
Well, I believe it's a really tricky task because, like I know Athena is trying to like update all the states of their positions in like sexes and so on once a week, and they want to do it even more frequently. Also, I know Resolve guys, like their design is a bit different, and they have like this insurance fund. If something like bad happens on the like off-chain part, they have some insurance to cover it, which is like really nice. And also like Aave Umbrella, like new, I wouldn't say it's protocol, it's like new utility stuff for Aave. It also do the same. So it's nice to have like on-chain insurance fund if something bad happens off-chain, but also you have to think about like you have to provide as much transparency as possible. But I know sometimes it's hard, and like it's important for us as security researchers. It's important for risk providers and like risk assessors, but for users, I think like they don't care. They just like want to deposit money and get like some stable APR and use it across DeFi ecosystem.
So if you look at like, the stablecoin landscape, what have you found to be the most resilient design?
In terms of like stabilization or user adoption?
Well, that's a good question. That's actually a good question to me. So I think that there are multiple angles, right? I would say let's start with just making sure my stablecoin is always worth, in this case, $1.
In this case, like USDC and USDT are quite stable, but it was like a situation with USDC. Yeah, but I don't know. It's like actually, if we're talking about stability, I didn't see any like cases. There were like a lot of different price drops recently with ETH and Bitcoin, and like all of the stable, they were fine. All of like algorithmic stable coins, all of the like fiat-based stable coin, they were all holding the base price of $1. So I think we like have some kind of adoption here because like people now believe that they're actually stables and they're not trying to sell it in these cases. So yeah, but in terms of like algorithmic stable coins, for me, like I really love CurveUSD stabilization mechanism. It's really nice. It's like unique because it has like soft liquidation. Also, like this mechanism is implemented in Fluid Vault, but they don't have deliquidation. I know there is like some tricky stuff about deliquidation, but it's nice. I mean, like if you deposit your ETH into CurveUSD, and if price goes down, you've been like a bit liquidated. But if ETH price goes up, then you're being deliquidated. So, and if you believe in ETH or Bitcoin or other like good collaterals, it's nice for you to like always
as a destination.
Yeah. And also like use this stablecoin across DeFi, like pay for a car. I have a friend who actually like put the ETH into Maker like borrowed some Dai and bought a car, and now he's like repairing his debt. So it's nice.
So yeah, I mean, I guess like in those designs, like you said, if you believe in ETH, what that does is you can deposit your ETH becomes worth more. You essentially get more stable coins printed against that ETH. But when it goes down, like, you know, unless there's a black swan event, I guess, like we had once, you know, I think in 2020 or 2021, it dipped radically. Outside of that, you know, because of the soft liquidation method, you don't like instantly lose all your collateral.
Yeah, that's true.
And so where do you see opportunities for design improvements?
Design improvements. I believe like some kind of a cross-chain built-in function for a stablecoin would be nice. So you don't think where is your stables, you just like use them, and the protocol like solves this settlement layer for you. It should be nice. In terms of like not stabilization mechanism, but I think a lot nowadays about distribution. I mean, like it's a huge problem for stablecoins, even like for yield-bearing one, which is fine if you just hold them. It's still like a huge problem to have a lot of liquidity. And I think like maybe we can somehow think about new design of stablecoin that like boosts this liquidity initially for users. I don't know how, but maybe that would be nice also. And I really like how stables can be integrated in the new like DEX lending type of protocols, when you can like swap by like depositing and borrowing and like paying a small fee. I think this can be somehow incorporated in stablecoins to give much more liquidity in the initial stages of the protocol.
So if you look at, let's say, CDPs or full reserve backed stablecoins, what is, like, say, the step 1, 2, 3 that you take, just like to risk assess it first? Like, what are the top 3 risk areas that you look at?
First of all, it's like code quality and like bugs in the code, because if there is like, I don't know, some missing access control, it will be easy to break it. And second of all, it's how it like works in the like cases of black swan events. And the third one, actually, like it's also nice. Sometimes we think, actually, I do remember Vitalik's paper. It was like published about 3 years ago. He wrote a really nice one, like what do you think about, like how you should think about stablecoin and how you should check it's like is it stable or not. But yeah, I do remember one point which is really nice, like how your stablecoin will like act if one of the user is like holding most of the liquidity and other is trying to like exit your protocol, like how you would react it. Because in this case, it's interesting topic for me. Like when you produce a new coin, is it like synthetic asset? I mean, like synthetic that like you can buy it on the market, but in the case if it's like you want to quit the protocol, you can only trade it on the market. And if it's not synthetic asset, that can be redeemed like always at 101 value, like in liquidity when you like holding LUSD or like Bolt, you can redeem it in like some specific cases, but still you can like, you don't think about what if liquidity dries on the like DEXs. You can always go to the protocol and redeem it, and it's nice.
What role do oracles play in a risk assessment of like a stablecoin?
Well, they're providing price, and which is like really hard task. I mean, like for protocols that integrating stables, it's also a hard task, because like should they use 101 price with like dollar, or should they use oracles? And it depends like how much markets are integrated in this protocol. Like if it's like 2 pools, that maybe it can be somehow manipulated So like on the Oracle side, it's important to like have some strict rules about how we add a new price feed, like how we can add it in, like how much taxes we should use, how much taxes we should use to provide like real market price for it. And it's really important for different cases. For example, like several protocols in like stablecoin protocols, they're using market price and the price inside the protocol, which is usually like $1. And if it differs, they like turn on some specific mechanics to like, I don't know, either increase supply or decrease supply. So it's really important to have like secure stablecoin. In this case, you have to have like secure Oracle.
Yeah, I mean, like I can also imagine it's also a challenge from the Oracle's point of view, right? Because you need to understand the reserves, you need to understand like how much is like circulating float. Like if someone like, I guess like in USDC's example, right? Essentially there was a panic.
Yes.
And then we also found out that many protocols had just had like hard-coded one. And then obviously that gave a huge arbitrage opportunity to the market. What role did oracles have to play there?
I think they could be like circuit breakers if the price on the market, like if the price in the protocol and price from the market that is provided by oracles is like, it differs a lot. In this case, something bad happens. It's usually better to like some kind of a pause different actions in the protocol so you can like think what is like fair situation, like how we should act in this case.
Would you go that far, saying like, I don't know, maybe an oracle or another party should have like invasive actions to like almost freeze a protocol?
Yeah, I think like it's nice not to like freeze all the functions, but some of the functions that you know for sure that should be like stopped right now because something bad is happening with the protocol. It's better to have like some permissionless like functions. So like actually like ZK here is, or TE is nice here because you can like, I don't know, calculate what is happening currently on the market and bring this information to the protocol and, for example, stop borrowing so the supply is not growing because something bad is happening.
This is actually like an interesting way I want to double click on. So what's your take here? I mean, and I'll give you some context. I mean, an invasive action for, let's say, protecting users' funds or like the market, we can all get behind that. However, there's also the crypto ethos. So, you know, most noteworthy, if there's a chain, like do you halt the chain, roll back, you know, we've seen blast. And then on a protocol level, there are also, let's say, some of these actions that you can take. What's your view on this?
Well, I believe such like mechanics should be implemented in the protocol, but they should be like the devs like really should good think about it and like not to freeze all the users because it will like break all the integrations. But I don't know if like it should be like well thought and at least you can like, for example, you can pause borrowing if something bad happens. About like supplying new liquidity. Also, it's better not to grow more if something bad happens. I believe it's like you cannot freeze the transfer functions because in this case all the integration will be like broken.
But you're essentially saying like some things, you know, maybe on the lighter end, but should be, let's say, should have like some form of like an invasive action or like a lightweight invasive action, but you're pro that.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if it's as much permissionless as possible and if like it well thought and we have like, I don't know, some analytics were thinking about it and like implementing different like formulas and so on and showing like in this case, it's better to pause this function because if we like not pause it, like the consequences could be like really, really bad. So in this case, yeah, I mean, it's better to have some emergency stuff built in the protocol because in my opinion we're like still experimenting with DeFi, right? Because like there are still a lot of new concepts, a lot of like new liquidity, and it's better to like understand because we don't know what will happen in the market in like 2 years and we're still new, and it's better to have like some stops in the protocol that allows you to like think a bit, but not like to rug people and so on. So yeah, I mean, like the one example that comes to my mind right now, what I was like thinking about, it's about bunker mode in Lido. So in case if like something bad happens on the like beacon chain, they can like put like pause on distributing new yield between staked ETH users and like to calculate how much liquidity should be like slashed between all the users, and they're like stopping withdrawals for like some small period of time, and after that they're like calculating everything correctly, double checking it, like putting a vote, and after that they're like redistributing the liquidity between users. And it's nice because in case if like huge slashing event happens in the Ethereum, like you have to understand what happened first. You cannot just like say, okay, we're like slashing everybody for like 5%. And it would be like really, really bad for like different protocols and users.
Yeah, most noteworthy. I mean, anything like that happens, as a user, I'm thinking ETH price goes down radically. So every hour that I have to wait to like get my money out, that's like, it's not just the slashing, right? It's actually market conditions. But coming back to like the invasive action, I'm keeping you here for a second. I won't name any chains, but there have been chains with like either paused, halted, or maybe even like did a rollback. Most recently, there was a chain where what appeared to be is that they own most of the validators, so they were able to like blacklist or like halt basically like prevent funds from moving. It was like $100 or something like that $1 million hack, not from the chain by the way, but on a protocol level, and they stepped in. What's your opinion on the chain stepping in?
It's a hard topic.
Yeah.
I mean, like in this case, it depends. Like we saw it with Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, like when they decided to like roll back the transaction. It's always like about what you can do in the protocol. If you can like change everything, that means like there is not a lot of trust in your chain. And if you can like help users like by like I don't know, stopping something for like some small period of time, maybe like right now it's fine. If you're I don't know, if you're a new chain with like some new cool design, and you're like still trying to understand what could happen with your design, it's better to like have some, I don't know, capped period of time where you like can pause something. But if you like sure that everything will be fine, in this case, it's better to like remove this from the chain because yeah.
So looking at 2025, have you seen any crazy hacks or like crazy designs where you're like, what?
Crazy hacks. Recently, actually, there are not so much. I really like the one with transient storage. I don't remember the name of the protocol, but there was like they were using transient storage for storing non-reentrant flag and something else, and the hacker were able to like reuse this space in the storage to like allow them to borrow more or something else. It was interesting one because it like show us that new technology always have some period of time where we like really need to test it good. And about designs, to be honest, no, it's like crazy stuff. So usually it happens like something out of my like sphere of interest. So yeah.
So when you look at, wrapping up, I think that, looking at, I think it's been busy season and it's going to be still a busy season for like security auditors with all the products that are being built out there. What are you most excited about in your field when it comes to like tooling, monitoring? I mean, to throw another buzzword in there, AI has been obviously, had a huge impact. Does AI have a huge impact for you?
Of course.
Why?
I mean, like it has impact on all of our work.
I know.
I mean, like everybody's, for example, we're using it while we're preparing reports. We're using it for writing tests. We're using it for like challenging us sometimes because in my opinion, like audit is a process of like asking questions about the code and like answering them. So AI can like generate more questions for you. So you'll be like sure that you checked everything that you could.
But I heard like, or at least like in my limited experience, but also talk to other developers, they're like, oh yeah, for crypto development, a smart contract, not that great yet. It's getting better and better, but like it's one of those edge cases like, you know, iOS app development is different than web development. Web development is great AI, but niches of development, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like if tests are in Foundry, it's much harder to make them with AI. But if the developers used hard hat, in this case, it's like you can prepare test in JavaScript like really fast with AI. And even like with Foundry, it gives you like some initial version, and for you to like change it a bit and run it, it takes about like 20-30 minutes, and before that it was like several hours. So it gives you it makes your work more efficient. That's why, yeah, I really like it. I force everybody in our company to use it. And also we see a lot of movements in like AI auditing. I think we can like cover some really easy to find bugs and some like it's, for example, if you compare like static analyzers like Slicer and AI has much more capability to find more like harder bugs than Slicer, because with Slicer you have like not a lot of ability to write different detectors. And yeah, that's why I really like it. There are a lot of companies, I know like about 4 or 5 who is currently developing AI tools for auditors. I believe like some of them will not have like market fit and they will not be used, but some of them will survive, and it would be nice. Yeah.
Do you think AI will replace auditors?
No.
Why?
I mean, like it's not like auditor, it's your assistant, right? Because if it writes you, I don't know, it's like, hey, I found these bugs, you have to check, is it true or not? And like you will need to do it if it's like, it's really good, it's still like just producing guesses. And you have to check it, and for it, it's like you have to have an auditor, I believe.
Has someone vibe coded a stablecoin project yet and give it to you like to audit?
No, no.
Do you think that will happen? Someone will be like, I vibe coded this.
Yeah, I believe like there are some concepts that have been vibe code. Like my friends are sometimes sharing new ideas with me, and they say like, hey, I vibe coded that. Can you check? Is it like makes sense or not? But like for audits, no, you have to like write tests, and I believe with vibe coding,
like, you don't vibe audit.
No, no. Audit process is like, yeah, we're kind of missing this part when you can like see on the beach, drinking your Aperol spritz and like auditing. No, it's not for us. We're like sitting in like dark rooms and trying to break the code.
A good friend of mine, Patrick Collins, you know, he loves to create content about it. I've known him from back in the days. We're both Python maxis. Every now and then I see a tweet. He goes, "I'm going offline, 3 days in a room." Yeah, you know, Dmitry, thank you so much for joining me. And MixBytes, you know, working at the frontier of keeping us safe. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having you on again, hopefully when nothing catastrophic happens. But I'm also very curious to seeing new designs and them being battle tested.
Yeah, me too, actually. I'm like, I really want to see more innovation in our space, but I'm seeing that it's like currently slowing a bit, but still we're really new, and I hope we'll see like more and more in recent years. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.